CBS 13 News is on your side at 6.
Closing arguments just wrapped up in the Boston Marathon bombing case.
Johar Tsarnaev is facing 30 charges related to the bombings that killed 3 people and injured more than 260 others. CBS 13's Maria Valdenas is in Boston with what comes next.
Prosecutors took nearly 2 hours giving closing arguments, while the defense took just 50 minutes. Now the fate of the 21-year-old is in the hands of jurors. Prosecutors once again showed jurors graphic images of the bombing, arguing the Tsarnaev brothers were partners in crime, displaying tweets the younger Tsarnaev wrote before and after the deadly attacks. Jurors were also reminded of the note Johar wrote on the sides of the boat where he hid, writing, "Stop killing our people and we will stop." Prosecutors finished by telling jurors this was a cold and calculated terrorist attack. The defense painted a different picture. They didn't dispute Johar's involvement, but told jurors, "You need to understand who was following and who was leading," claiming Johar was under his brother's strict control and that without Tamerlan, these attacks would have never happened. Deliberations are set to begin tomorrow. If a guilty verdict is reached, the second phase of the trial will begin, focusing on whether Tsarnaev will receive the death penalty. Reporting in Boston, Maria Valdenas for CBS 13 News.
Police arrest a Damariscotta man for allegedly sexually abusing 3 young children. Ronald Brand is now facing a slew of sex charges. Police say 2 separate complaints to DHHS led to the arrest. All of the children involved are under the age of 12. Brand is being held on $5,000 cash bail.
And the weather department will track some light snow across the area, most of that from central Maine, Penobscot Bay, and back through the mountains. There, it's starting to accumulate, with temps falling to the low 30s. It's just cloudy over southern areas. Let's take a look at where we are with the Doppler HD. Back through the mountains, we're seeing some light snow that extends all the way from Augusta up to Waterville and back through towards Penobscot Bay area. Southern parts of Maine, we're just seeing cloudy conditions there. Temps are in the 30s and low 40s. Portland, the warm spot. Augusta is down to 31 now. We're starting to see some light accumulations in Kennebec County. Got a few reports of a coating of snow on the ground there. All right, so this evening I expect some light rain and snow, more of the same tonight. Some rain showers are expected over southern zones. Any leftover light rain or snow ends early tomorrow morning. We should see some bright spots developing late in the day with highs in the low 40s. Coming up, we're tracking an unsettled pattern that extends until at least Thursday time frame. After that, a little bit of a warm-up appears to be in the cards. We'll look at that together in just a few minutes. Greg and Adrian, back to you. Greg.
Well, Governor Paul LePage says the people of Maine spoke loudly in the last election that they want welfare reform. And today he laid out his plans, which he says have a much better chance of passing this time around. CBS 13's Brad Rogers has the details from the State House.
We want to help. We just don't want to be abused. It's that simple.
Governor LePage is promising once again to get tough on welfare fraud. He wants to require temporary assistance for needy families applicants to apply for 3 jobs before getting benefits, bar the use of benefit cards outside of Maine, and prohibit people from using benefits on certain purchases, including alcohol, tobacco, and gambling. Many of these reforms are the same ones Democrats shot down last year.
But our liberal friends said no.
Now, Republicans and Democrats already agree benefits shouldn't be used for alcohol, lottery tickets, and tobacco.
Yeah, I think we are on the same page, and we feel like it's the right approach. You got to give people the training and education to get a good paying job.
Governor LePage brought in 2 former TANF recipients who say the program worked for them.
As of last December, I am no longer a participant in TANF. I am a full-time working mom. I look at it like this is what our safety net is supposed to be for. It's supposed to help people who genuinely need a hand up.
And I didn't spend my money on lottery tickets or alcohol. I didn't go to Vegas. I didn't gamble with it.
Right now, people can turn their TANF benefits into cash and spend the money. Governor LePage says he will still allow that. But under his legislation, people caught abusing the system could be barred from receiving TANF benefits for 6 months. Democrats will introduce their own welfare reform measures, some of which mirror the governor's initiatives. Common ground, yes, but it may take compromise to push these measures through. At the State House, Brad Rogers, CBS 13 News.
Also at the State House, a Maine lawmaker continues her fight to make sure parents know of any serious allegations and investigations involving their daycare. This follows a CBS 13 investigation exposing weaknesses and flaws with how DHHS was communicating with parents. Investigative reporter John Chrysos finds out how this could change and why some claim the fix may be too far, John.
DHHS says it is now notifying parents when there's a complaint of alleged child abuse or neglect. But Representative Karen Garish wants the law to require notification of all complaints. She was joined by parents today for a public hearing on her daycare complaint notification bill. The bill would require DHHS to notify parents of every child at a daycare under investigation. The proposal says the notification needs to be in writing and contain details of the complaint. Our series of investigative reports last year uncovered alarming allegations of abuse at a southern Maine daycare center. It also revealed parents were left in the dark while an investigation was underway at Sunshine Childcare and Preschool in Lyman.
Had this legislation been in place at the time, I would have had the information that I needed to make the decision that would have allowed me to protect my children.
There's concerns that, well, an investigation doesn't necessarily mean that something wrong has taken place, and there are concerns that you could be hurting small businesses that where nothing improper may have happened.
DHHS says it's concerned about the bill as well because it says it could hurt providers, especially when the investigation concludes the complaint has no merit. DHHS is taking steps to improve transparency. Earlier this year, a new online public database launched. It includes completed inspection and licensing reports at the state's nearly 2,000 providers. Kim, back over to you.
Thanks, John. A Maine woman says she feels discriminated against by a Lewiston restaurant. She says it happened while she was breastfeeding at Ramada's Fusion restaurant Saturday afternoon. CBS 13's Katie Sampson tells us why the mother calls the experience embarrassing.
I was floored. I was humiliated.
Stephanie Whitmore was breastfeeding her 7-month-old son Hunter when she says a waitress approached her asking her to be more discreet.
So I think you should turn your chair so that your back is to the restaurant. I was like, no. I'm like, why would I do that?
An employee told us some people in the restaurant were uncomfortable.
If there are complaints, they should tell their guests if that's the stand they want to take anyway. How about you just not look at her?
The federal government limits that to federal property, which obviously doesn't.
Attorney David Webert says the Maine Human Rights Act protects Whitmore in this situation.
If you're somewhere where you're okay to be, you have an absolute right to breastfeed.
He says the law also prohibits anyone from interfering or intimidating someone exercising those rights.
So anybody who messes with somebody who's trying to breastfeed by saying anything negative is violating the Maine Human Rights Act.
The assistant general manager of the hotel is taking statements from all employees involved.
The waitstaff that this happened to, she was completely floored. She's like, she couldn't believe that she had upset a woman so badly because she asked her to turn her chair. But
employee Natasha Crystal joined more than a dozen others at the restaurant today to show support for Whitmore.
Breasts are made to feed our babies. They're not for pornographic material, which society has made, and that's why everyone makes such a big deal out of it.
The assistant general manager of the hotel here tells me they are continuing to investigate this incident. If they find that an employee did something wrong, they plan to address it so it doesn't happen again. In Lewiston, Katie Sampson, CBS 13 News.
A homeless man from Ellsworth is now charged with arson for a fire that seriously injured a firefighter. This happened at the Stanwood Wildlife Sanctuary last year. Now, 31-year-old Christopher Kidder faces several charges, including arson. Kidder was arrested Saturday night after he turned himself in. Coming up next at 6, why some police departments are being asked to make fewer arrests and the specific types of arrests they may be cutting back on.
Plus, it's an odorless, colorless killer. What one Maine lawmaker is doing to try to protect you from carbon monoxide poisoning.
It's snowing for parts of the area tonight. Where to expect some accumulations, when that sun will return, and when to expect another wintry mix. It's in the forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
watching CBS 13 News at 6.
The Kennebec County Sheriff is asking local police departments to stop making arrests for minor nonviolent offenses. Sheriff Randall Liberty says the county jail is always overcrowded. He sees this as a common sense solution to save Maine city and town governments and taxpayers money. Liberty says people arrested and put in jail for an unpaid fine or a minor offense often end up costing taxpayers more money in the long run.
If the individual is a public safety risk, bring them to jail. If they're a flight risk, bring them to jail. But if it's a nonviolent misdemeanor offense, they can summons and see in court later. That's what I'm asking them to do. Because in the end, really, any increase in cost of the jail goes back to the towns.
Both the district attorney and defense attorney say they support what Sheriff Liberty is doing to ease jail overcrowding.
It is an odorless, colorless killer. And now a Maine lawmaker wants to expand the number of buildings required to have carbon monoxide detectors here in Maine. Under current law, carbon monoxide detectors are required in rental units and single-family rental homes. Right now, if a new home or hotel is built, it is required to have those CO detectors installed. But older homes, hotels, dorms, daycares, other buildings do not fall under this same strict regulation. State Senator Bill Diamond is behind the legislation. He calls it a common sense measure. The measure also received unanimous support today from the Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee.
Scarborough's proposed budget could lead to a big tax increase for residents. Town councilors say they're facing cuts from state funding and they need to find a way to make up the money. CBS 13's Courtney Highfield has the details.
The proposed budget is an 8.6% increase in the tax base, and the chair of the Finance Committee says this is the largest he's seen in years. Now, the biggest factor in that is a 21% decrease in funding from the state. The proposed budget requires more than $60 million to be raised through property taxes. For the average property owner here in Scarborough, that's an annual increase of about $383. Town Councilor Sean Babine says the feedback he's received indicates $383 is too much, but he says some kind of tax increase is necessary.
One thing is certain, no one likes to pay taxes. No one wants to pay more taxes. But at the same time, they want more services, they want better services, and they want a continuation of what they have. So there is, I think, some expectation that there will be an increase.
Babine says between now and the end of the month, the town councilors will have 10 meetings to work on and discuss the budget. On April 29th, they're holding a public forum for community members to come and ask questions and voice their opinions. In Scarborough, Courtney Highfield, CBS 13 News.
Oh, tracking some light snow across the area tonight, where it will accumulate, where to expect some sun to return tomorrow, and when to expect another wintry mix. It's in the forecast coming up next.
Now, your CBS 13 Weather Authority forecast with Charlie Lopresti.
Welcome back, everyone. It's not feeling very spring-like out there this evening. Where we don't have the snow, it's just cloudy, cool, and raw. Where we do have the snow, it's accumulating to a coating in many spots so far. Let's take a look at where we are with satellite radar. We're tracking some light snow that extends from Penobscot Bay back through central Maine, hills and mountains, and that line extends all the way back through Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, and actually northern parts of the Great Lakes as well. So, bottom line here, we're going to continue to see some light snow for central Maine and back through the mountains. There, we're going to see light accumulations. We can get in a little bit closer. I'll show you what we're seeing. Well, just cloudy skies. First, down to York County and Cumberland County. It's just cloudy here. We've had some spits of snow at times during the day today, where we're seeing some light snow that extends from the Rockland area up through Belfast, Bangor. This is just north of Augusta right now. Augusta's had some light snow throughout the afternoon. For the time being, it has shifted north. Notice up towards Waterville, we're seeing a little bit of snow there. Got a report from Kennebec County. We're seeing some light accumulations of coating on the grassy surfaces so far. I also got a report up in Rangeley where there's an inch of snow already in the ground in Rangeley. That one coming from Chris up in Rangeley. North of Route 2, that's where we're seeing the steadiest light snow. This extends back through Coos County, New Hampshire. There's Mount Washington right there, Berlin, Gorham, New Hampshire, up towards Errol, Lake Umbagog. You're seeing a little bit of snow that extends there as well. This is our time lapse from our Augusta sky cam. You can see the flakes falling and melting on impact throughout most of the afternoon. But now we have a temperature of 30 degrees. Any snow that falls here will start to accumulate. So these areas will see a little bit of light snow overnight. Southern zones, temps are still near 40 degrees. Overnight lows tonight will dip into the low mid-30s at the coastline. Farther north, I expect temperatures there to dip into the upper 20s and low 30s. Let's take a look at a few webcams in Rockland. There's a pretty good burst of snow that moved through. Notice how it gets almost like a little whiteout situation. Looks like a whiteout. It's certainly not. It's just light snow, but you can see the snow moving in there. Up towards Augusta, we're seeing more light snow. It's having a hard time accumulating on the pavement there, but we've got a few reports of a coating of snow through northern Kennebec County. And up towards Sunday River there in Oxford County, notice some of the trees starting to pick up a little bit of snow. So there we might see about 1 to 3 inches of snow. So there's that fine line. The snow to the north, it's just cloudy with a chance for rain showers south. This will sag south during the overnight. So 7 a.m. tomorrow, we're seeing some light snow and rain showers moving out. If you have any, it won't last very long. Skies will become brighter later in the day with highs in the low to possibly mid-40s. We will be brightest off to the north. Wednesday looks to be a fairly quiet day, relatively speaking. It's going to be cool though. Look for highs in the upper 30s and low 40s. We will have some bright skies, more clouds over southern zones. That's about 2:30 in the afternoon. Now Wednesday night into Thursday, we're going to see a light wintry mix. Some rain, the mix being a little bit of sleet, freezing rain, and possibly some snow. Some more light accumulations are possible in areas that are getting some light snow tonight. That should extend into the day on Thursday. Notice that's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And check out these temperatures. Not very spring-like. Air temps should stay in the 30s to near 40 that day. Snowfall accumulations tonight. Many towns will get a coating to 1 inch or 2 of snow in the darker shades of blue. You get up in elevation a little bit. Let's remember in Rangeley, we already have 1 inch of snow on the ground there, 1 to 3 inches in that little bubble. I think there will be some spots over the higher elevations, particularly over towards Mount Washington, that get about 3 to 6 inches of snow. Now, as we head into the day tomorrow, any leftover rain or snow ends early. There will be bright spots late. Sun and clouds on Wednesday, highs near 40 degrees. 30s on Thursday with a wintry mix Wednesday night into the day on Thursday. It should be fairly light. Some rain showers are likely early Friday and some more rain showers Friday night. In between there, we should warm things up with some sunny breaks into the mid-50s. I think 50s will be common both days this weekend. Sunday's probably the better day just because winds will be stronger on Saturday. And by Monday of next week, away from an wind off the ocean, we could see a high in the low 60s. So we're getting that time of year where you get the winds off the ocean. It's springtime. Yeah. It's going to be quite a bit cooler here. But one thing is for certain, it's going to get a little bit warmer as we head into next week.
That'll be better.
We'll take it, Charlie.
Yep.
Join us this week for Your Voice, Your Future town hall debate on vaccinations. Most doctors say they're essential for your children, but many parents choose not to immunize their kids. We're hosting a forum Wednesday, April 8th in the CBS 13 Fox 23 studios. You can watch it live on WGME.com and also go to our website to find out how you can be a part of our studio audience.
Hey, it is opening day for the Red Sox. The big hits and fantastic pitching performance from Clay Buchholz.
Plus, the Red Claws are gearing up for tomorrow night's playoff opener. Who's up first and when fans can see them right here in Portland? Next in sports.
That's good news. Thank you.
Now, CBS 13 Sports with Dave Eve.
Good evening, everyone. There is nothing quite like opening day in New England. Regardless of what the team looks like in April, Red Sox fans are always cautiously optimistic. The Sox beginning the 2015 season down in Philly today. Top one, not wasting any time. Dustin Pedroia, the little engine that could, a solo shot to left in a 1-0 Red Sox lead. Righty Clay Buchholz was masterful today here, getting Cody Ash top three, and former Sea Dog Mookie Betts connects another solo shot and a 2-0 Red Sox lead. We skip ahead to the fifth now, and it's Pedroia, his second home run off of Cole Hamels. The Red Sox stretching their lead to 3-zip. Still in the fifth now, Hanley Ramirez, he unloads. The Red Sox with 4 solo home runs off the Phillies ace. Top 9, bases loaded for Hanley Ramirez, and he clears the deck with a grand slam. 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Buchholz, 8 shutout innings. Red Sox win the opener 8-0. Well, later tonight, right here on CBS 13, Duke and Wisconsin will square off to decide the men's college basketball championship. The opening tip is set for 9:18 from Indianapolis, the game featuring 2 #1 seeds. Now, Duke won it all 5 years ago, but for Wisconsin, the drought has been much greater. The Badgers will be making their first trip to the finals in 74 years. Wisconsin last won it all in 1941. The Badgers stopped Kentucky's undefeated run on Saturday night, and now they'll try and beat a Duke team they lost to by 10 points back in December.
Basketball fans that I know would ever think that Duke didn't have a good team. I mean, a lot of people thought they had a pretty good team because they came in and spanked us at our place.
Now, Bo, for these, especially these last 2 years, has put together a championship level team, and they'll be extremely difficult to beat.
Well, the Maine Red Claws will open up their first-round playoff series tomorrow night in Fort Wayne against the Mad Ants. It's a 7 o'clock start. Game 2 will be Saturday afternoon at the Expo, and if need be, Game 3 will be Sunday afternoon at the Expo. The Red Claws went 3-1 against the Mad Ants during the regular season, including a perfect 2-0 road record. However, all the games were very close, and in a best-of-3 situation, that first game is very important.
the 4 games we played these guys during the season is any indication, every one of them basically came down to the last minute. And, hopefully we can provide just as good of an effort, and the team that executes the best down the stretch and plays the most consistent over the 48 minutes will win, regardless of whether it's 1-0 or 1-1 in the series. And whoever does that twice first wins.
That's going to be tough when it's a best of 3. I mean, it's
For
huge.
sure.
You don't have that cushion there, you
That's
know?
right. What an opening day, though.
Oh.
Great start.
Great. If we can bottle that one up.
I know, great. All right, thanks, Dave.
We'll be back with one more check on that forecast.
You're watching CBS 13 News at 6.
Country music fans, don't miss this opportunity. Here's your chance to see Sugarland's Christian Bush in concert this summer. We're holding a contest for 2 free tickets, round-trip airfare, and a hotel stay for 2 nights to see him in Atlanta on August 1st. Just head to WGME.com for more information.
You know it'll be hot in Atlanta August 1st.
Boy, not this
Hopefully
week,
here.
Charlie.
Yeah, the calendar says spring. It says April, right? But yeah, we're having a hard time getting out of the 30s today. It's snowing over northern sections. Most of the accumulation will be in the areas that it's snowing right now. We're expecting 1 to 3 inches in the mountains, coating to 2 for central Maine down to Penobscot Bay. All right, tomorrow any leftover rain or snow showers move out early, bright spots late. Wednesday looks fairly quiet, highs near 40. It's a wintry mix that arrives late Wednesday night and extends into Thursday. It gets a little warmer late week.
All right, thanks, Charlie, and thank you for joining us.
Have a great night. We'll see you back here later tonight.
Now, Fox 23 News is on your side at 6:30.
The fate of an accused Boston bomber now in the hands of jurors.
Deliberations in the Boston Marathon bombing case start here tomorrow morning. What was said during closing arguments? Coming up next.
Breastfeeding backlash.
I was floored. I was humiliated.
A mom feeding her son is asked to be more discreet. Where it happened and what happened next.
Plus, digging out in April, where the plows are still going in May. A jury of 7 women and 5 men will decide an accused bomber's fate. Closing arguments ended today in the trial of Johar Tsarnaev.
The 21-year-old is facing charges for the attacks at the Boston Marathon in 2013. 3 people died and hundreds of others were hurt.
Fox 23's Maria Valdenas is in Boston and explains what comes next.
Prosecutors took nearly 2 hours giving closing arguments, while the defense took just 50 minutes. Now the fate of the 21-year-old is in the hands of jurors. Prosecutors once again showed jurors graphic images of the bombing, arguing the Tsarnaev brothers were partners in crime, displaying tweets the younger Tsarnaev wrote before and after the deadly attacks. Jurors were also reminded of the note Johar wrote on the sides of the boat where he hid, writing, "Stop killing our people and we will stop." Prosecutors finished by telling jurors this was a cold and calculated terrorist attack. The defense painted a different picture. They didn't dispute Johar's involvement, but told jurors, "You need to understand who was following and who was leading," claiming Johar was under his brother's strict control and that without Tamerlan, these attacks would have never happened. Deliberations are set to begin tomorrow. If jurors reach a guilty verdict, the second phase of this trial begins, focusing on whether Tsarnaev will receive the death penalty. Reporting in Boston, Maria Valdenas for Fox 23 News.
Also in Boston, the jury in the Aaron Hernandez murder trial could get the case as early as tomorrow. The defense rested its case today. The former New England Patriots star is accused of murdering Odin Lloyd, a friend of his. Much of the evidence in the former New England Patriots case is circumstantial. Closing arguments will start tomorrow. The jury will likely get the case Tuesday or Wednesday.
A Maine mom stages a protest after she says she was discriminated against by a Lewiston restaurant over the weekend. Stephanie Whitmore and at least a dozen others went back to that hotel restaurant today after what she calls a humiliating experience. Whitmore says she was breastfeeding her 7-month-old son when she says a waitress approached her asking her to be more discreet. An employee tells Fox 23 News some people at the restaurant were uncomfortable.
I think you should turn your chair so that your back is to the restaurant. I was like, no. I'm like, why would I do that? I was floored. I was humiliated.
Attorney David Weber says the Maine Human Rights Act protects a breastfeeding mom in this situation. He says the law also prohibits anyone from interfering or intimidating someone exercising those rights. The assistant general manager of the hotel says they are taking statements from all of the employees involved.
New tonight, a Mid-Coast man is accused of sexually abusing 3 young children. Police took 65-year-old Ronald Brand into custody after DHHS got 2 separate complaints. The incidents reportedly happened in Damariscotta and in Waldoboro and involved 3 children, all under the age of 12. Brand is held at the Two Bridges Jail in Wiscasset.
A new bill promises to give parents more information about the daycares where they send their children. The legislation comes after a Fox 23 investigation. The proposal would create more transparency with the investigation of child daycare centers. It would require DHHS to notify parents of every child that's at a daycare under investigation. The notification would need to be in writing and contain details of the complaint. Last year, a Fox 23 investigation uncovered alarming abuse allegations at a daycare center in Lyman. It also revealed how parents were left in the dark about that investigation. This proposal hopes to prevent that.
Had this legislation been in place at the time, I would have had the information that I needed to make the decision that would have allowed me to protect my children.
There's concerns that, well, an investigation doesn't necessarily mean that something wrong has taken place, and there are concerns that you could be hurting small businesses that where nothing improper may have happened.
DHHS says it is concerned about the bill because it could hurt providers when the investigation concludes that a complaint has no merit. The department says it's already notifying parents when there's a complaint of alleged child abuse or neglect.
Winter's not quite over yet in northern Maine. Fort Kent saw several inches of snow over the weekend. The temperatures dropped as well. Some people woke up to record-breaking cold. In Caribou, it was -4, and in Presque Isle, it was 13 below. Yikes. Charlie joins us now. Charlie, we're looking at some rain and snow in southern Maine tonight.
That's right. It's a wintry mix here, Adrian. Some spots are getting light accumulations already tonight, but extreme southern parts of Maine, it's just rain showers that will be affecting us. Let's take a look at satellite radar. We're tracking that pencil-thin line of light snow that's bisecting the state. South of that line, we just have clouds. North of the line, we just have clouds there as well. I expect some of that snow you see there that extends from the western mountains of Maine all the way back through Mid-coast Maine, Penobscot Bay area, that's all going to try to sag south during the overnight hours, and rain showers are expected for portions of coastal Cumberland County and York County. Temperatures are all over the place. Look at Augusta. We're starting to see temperatures there dip below freezing. Same up in Rumford, where light accumulations of snow are already occurring. This is Augusta this afternoon, where we had some light snow falling, a lot of that snow melting on impact, though. Here we go tonight. We're expecting temps falling into the low to mid 30s over southern areas, a little bit cooler north and inland, as we already saw there from the temperature setup. Tomorrow, some rain and snow early in the day, then bright spots late. High temperatures tomorrow should make it into the low 40s. So tomorrow will become a little bit brighter later in the day. We talked about those record lows in northern Maine today. We may actually have an all-time record low for the month of April that was recorded at Big Black River this morning, 20 degrees below zero.
Oh, Charlie, no.
For the whole state.
For the whole state, all-time
Yikes.
record low for the month of April. So they're still trying to confirm that up in Caribou there. But impressive stuff. I mean, very cold for the month of April, and some areas are getting accumulating snow too.
See, it could always be worse.
Yeah, that's right. Our
We could
wintry
be in
mix doesn't
northern
look so
Maine.
bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, on to the State House now. The governor looking for more welfare reforms in Maine. This time, though, some Democrats are on board as well. The governor wants to require temporary assistance for needy families applicants to prove they've applied for 3 jobs before they get any benefits. He also wants to prohibit those TANF benefits from being used for things like tobacco, liquor, tattoos, and more. Governor LePage says there's no reason TANF benefits on EBT cards should be used outside of the state of Maine either.
TANF shouldn't be used for extended stays in Florida, California, Hawaii, and shouldn't be used at Disney World or Las Vegas. We want to help. We just don't want to be abused. It's that simple.
Well, I think Mainers are looking for common sense solutions, and they're looking for us to really be focused on job creation, creating jobs that pay a livable wage so that people don't have to be on our welfare system.
Well, right now, people can turn their TANF benefits into cash and go out and spend the money. Governor LePage says he will still allow it, but says there are ways the state has of knowing if someone is using those TANF benefits for things they should not be. Under this legislation, a third offense would bar somebody from getting TANF benefits for 6 months.
A coastal town could see property taxes go up by a significant amount. Scarborough City councilors say that they are facing cuts from the state. And as Fox 23's Courtney Highfield explains, they say they need to find a way to make up that money.
The proposed budget is an 8.6% increase in the tax base, and the chair of the Finance Committee says this is the largest he's seen in years. Now, the biggest factor in that is a 21% decrease in funding from the state. The proposed budget requires more than $60 million to be raised through property taxes. For the average property owner here in Scarborough, that's an annual increase of about $383. Town Councilor Sean Babine says the feedback he's received indicates $383 is too much, but he says some kind of tax increase is necessary.
One thing is certain, no one likes to pay taxes. No one wants to pay more taxes. But at the same time, they want more services, they want better services, and they want a continuation of what they have. So there is, I think, some expectation that there will be an increase.
Babine says between now and the end of the month, the town councilors will hold 10 meetings to discuss and work on the budget. On April 29th, they're holding a public forum for community members to come and voice their opinions and ask questions. In Scarborough, Courtney Highfield, Fox 23 News.
A homeless man is charged with arson after he allegedly burned a wildlife sanctuary in Ellsworth, then turned himself in. 31-year-old Christopher Kidder is accused of starting the fire at a 2-story building March 2014. A firefighter was seriously hurt while fighting those flames after he fell through a floor. Kidder was arrested after he called the fire marshal's office to turn himself in. He is now facing an arson charge and several other charges stemming from the firefighter's injury.
Well, a young driver is hurt, but it could have been much worse after state police say her car collided with a moose. Look at the vehicle here. The 19-year-old woman from Greenville suffered some cuts from broken glass after the moose ran out into the road and then crashed right through her windshield there. Police say it happened along Route 11 in Aroostook County. Police say speed was not a factor in the crash.
Well, it was opening day for the Red Sox today, and if today's opener against Philadelphia is any indication of how the team's going to do this year, Sox fans are going to be pretty pumped up this season. To the city of brotherly love we go. All Red Sox in this one. Top one, Dustin Pedroia, getting it started with a solo blast off of Cole Hamels and a 1-0 Red Sox lead. And then in the 5th, it's Pedroia again his second home run off of Hamels, and the Red Sox stretching their lead to 3-0. Still in the fifth now, Hanley Ramirez belts his second of the game. Oh, that's his first one. You'll see his second right here. That's a grand slam in the ninth as the Red Sox, behind Clay Buchholz, 8 shutout innings, go on to shut out the Phillies on opening day, 8-0.
Oh, speaking of baseball, the Cubs lost to the Cardinals in their home opener, but that's not what people are talking about. Wrigley Field is under some construction right now, and not all the bathrooms are ready. Twitter was full of complaints about long lines for the restrooms. Some men say they were forced to go to the bathroom in cups outside of those bathrooms. The Cubs released a statement saying they simply weren't prepared for the number of people. It was opening day, after all.
Next, weight loss programs that work when it comes to slimming down. The 2 plans that experts say are most effective for dropping the lbs and keeping them off.
Plus, poisoned on vacation, the deadly gas allegedly pumped into a luxury condo complex, leaving 2 teenage boys in a coma, their parents badly hurt.
You're watching Fox 23 News at 6:30.
Boy, a vacation at a luxury resort turns into a nightmare for a family. Right now, the parents are badly hurt. The 2 teenage sons are in comas after they were apparently poisoned. A criminal investigation is underway at this resort in St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands after a Delaware family was exposed to deadly pesticides. Authorities say a Terminex pest control company came and fumigated the condo below them. Just below where they were staying, the father was found in a coma. His teenage sons and his wife, they were having seizures when they were found. Both parents did improve when they were airlifted to the U.S., but both boys, also airlifted, remain in a coma.
It couldn't have happened to a better family and better people, and they're all around. They're one of those families that everyone likes to be around.
Now, officials say that the company may have used methyl bromide, an odorless, nearly undetectable gas that attacks the lung and the nervous system, causing respiratory and heart failure. It's so toxic, in fact, it's banned from being used indoors within the U.S. Terminex says it is investigating the situation.
In your health, a new study finds just a few weight loss programs are considered effective. Researchers from Johns Hopkins University looked at 11 programs. They say Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig are the most effective for helping people lose weight and keep it off.
On average, Weight Watchers participants lost at least 8 pounds at the 12-month mark. Participants in Jenny Craig, on average, lost at least 15 pounds at the 12-month mark.
The study also found Nutrisystem showed promising short-term weight loss results, but more research is needed for long-term results. Researchers say more studies are needed on the other weight loss programs as well to determine if they also help people lose weight and keep it off.
Let's go and check with Charlie now, who is tracking rain and snow.
That's right, not very April-like, guys. We're tracking the snow over northern zones back through the White Mountains of New Hampshire and the western mountains of Maine. This extends over portions of central Maine and down through Penobscot Bay and eastern Maine. South of that, we just have cloudy skies in place. Areas that we're seeing some snow right now, a coating to as much as 2 inches. There will be spots in the mountains that get about 1 to 3 inches. Some of the higher elevations up near Mount Washington may get up near around 3 to 6 inches of snow. So around 11 o'clock tonight, it's cloudy south with a chance for rain showers. It's snow off to the north. That little line will sag south during the overnight, so rain and snow showers. By about 7 o'clock in the morning, they will be moving out. Clouds will break to a little bit of sun. We'll see partly sunny skies make an appearance late in the day with high temps returning into the 40s. Another round of wintry mix arrives Wednesday night into Thursday. We'll look at that in the 7-day in a moment. We're out of the gate 7 a.m. tomorrow with some rain and snow showers moving out by lunchtime. It's still mostly cloudy. Bright spots are likely late in the day. Coming up, we'll look at that 7-day. Again, that doesn't look very spring-like, at least in the near term. In the extended range, we're tracking 50s and even lower 60s. I'll see you in a few. Guys, back to you.
New at 10 tonight, a father builds a fort for his children, putting it in his yard. Why city leaders say he has to tear it down, and why, despite being upset about this, he will not put up a fight. That is coming up tonight on Fox 23 News at 10.
Well, Duke and Wisconsin will square off later tonight over on CBS 13 for the NCAA Men's College Basketball Championship. For the Blue Devils, this is familiar territory. Duke has won 4 national titles, and this year's team is once again loaded with talent. Freshman Jahlil Okafor, and meanwhile, it's been 74 years since Wisconsin last won it all, but the Badgers have a battle-tested team featuring Player of the Year Frank Kaminsky, and at least one Wisconsin family has mixed feelings about tonight's game.
She married him before we knew.
How do you feel being the odd man out?
I'll tell you about midnight tonight.
Both teams are #1 seeds. Tip-off is 9:18 p.m. So should be a great game. Of course, Wisconsin riding high after that huge win over Kentucky.
And the real underdog, it sounds like. Did you say 74 years?
74 years since they, not only last one and all, but their last title game was 74 years. 1941.
And who did you pick again, Dave, to win it all?
Picked Wisconsin. But truth be told, I picked Wisconsin because everyone picked
Kentucky.
Yeah, but I knew Wisconsin was good.
You're a smart man, Mr. Reed.
Yeah, that's why he's the sports director. Next, a warning about breast milk. Parents buying it online are finding it has an extra ingredient and how it could put your child at risk. Coming up.
Plus, off balance. When it comes to yoga, why many of the techniques used right here in America could be wrong.
Now, your Fox 23 Weather Authority forecast with Charlie Lopresti.
Any leftover light rain and snow will be moving out early tomorrow morning. Skies will be brightest late in the day and temps should warm into the low 40s. Low 40s will be common again on Wednesday with a mixture of sun and clouds. By Wednesday night into Thursday, I think we'll see some light wintry mix. That mix being some snow, rain, and sleet, possibly some freezing rain. That will extend into Thursday. Friday looks to be an interesting day. A warm front, cold front combo could bring a few more rain showers in between there. I think we'll see sunny breaks, which should warm us into the 50s. I think 50s will be common both days this weekend as well. Air temps should be in the 40s as we head into the day tomorrow. So there we go. At least some improvement in the extended range here, guys. But yeah, not very spring-like, at least over the next couple of days. It's a very unsettled weather pattern. It's going to stay that way through at least Thursday.
All right, Charlie.
Yep.
Fox 23 is on your side with a warning about buying breast milk online. Researchers say they found 1 in every 10 samples purchased over the internet contained added cow's milk, which could pose a danger to babies. Doctors say some parents, of course, look for human milk online because their infants have an allergy or an intolerance to cow's milk. A previous study indicated more than 75% of samples also had a bacterial or viral contamination.
When it comes to yoga, Americans might be doing it wrong. Now, this is the technique that most of us recognize, but this is not. In India, proper yoga starts with a cleansing of the sinuses and finishes with group snorting. Instruction is very strict and emphasizes all 4 components: cleansing, breathing, meditating, and posing. One American who teaches yoga at the American Embassy in New Delhi calls the Indian technique surprisingly stressful. She says it simply wouldn't translate in the U.S.
It's definitely a strictness. You listen to your teacher, whereas at my studio in America, there was just a lot more love when the teacher touched you, a lot more warm. You know, you pose and stop and pose and stop. So that's probably the biggest difference, the freedom of expression in each pose.
India's yoga minister counters that Americans treat yoga as a workout while Indians seek something deeper. By the way, more than 20 million Americans at this point practice yoga, and that industry is worth more than $10 billion every year.
By the fact that there's a yoga minister, I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head with the differences, cultural versus a workout.
Right, but there are so many different forms of yoga. You
can
sign up for all sorts of different classes, and many are gentler, and some are hot yoga and more
you're looking
aerobic.
for.
Right, exactly.
Well, coming up next, the price of plum. Staggering amounts of money that teens here in the Northeast are paying for the big night.
Plus, the one thing they're spending nearly $400 on.
watching Fox 23 News at 6:30.
As if teenagers, and frankly, the parents of teenagers, don't have enough pressure on them when it comes to the big dance. Teens in the Northeast are, get this, spending more than $1,000 on prom. $1,000. An annual survey by Visa finds that teens in the Northeast specifically spend the most, on average of more than $1,100 for that night. $738 for, you know, the basics, prom, the dress, tux, limo, tickets, flowers, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but here's what really got us. $431 for something called the promposal. Thank goodness this wasn't around when I was asking people out to the prom. That is the elaborate way in which you ask your date out. They're spending $430 just on the ask.
Pressure.
So much money. And the pressure, it has to be like social media
that's what's
worthy,
driving it.
right? Don't you think? That's it?
Apparently. I think it's overkill,
That
to
is
say
a
the
lot.
least. But my
That's
God.
wedding-like.
Exactly. It is, and I think you hit it on the head. It's the parents who end up writing that check, I assume.
I know. It's, you know, it's enough pressure, I think, on teens. And frankly, you have a high schooler right now. I mean, boy.
David and I are just below that. We're not quite there.
That's
Thank you.
Almost.
Anyway, just wait. Start saving now, guys.
I know, better.
Anyway.
Or say no.
Yeah. Or just say no.
Exactly.
Charlie struck in kind of a lousy looking forecast.
Yeah, it sure looks
Charlie.
like
It is. You know what? We're snowing for parts of the area tonight, from portions of central Maine down to mid-coast Maine, over toward Penobscot Bay to be more specific. And also back in the mountains there, the snow continues. So it's southern areas are seeing just cloudy skies. Even there, we'll see a mix of rain and snow later tonight. This is a viewer photo coming in from Rachel in Camden, and she says, yep, it's a little more than a dusting there, and yeah, they'll get a coating to as much as an inch of snow probably in the Camden area tonight, and 1 to 3 inches in the mountains tonight as well.
Boy,
Well,
that's
the-
tough.
Fast, right?
The snow is melting in our house, and I
Finally.
noticed that a mole got into my lawn and
Yeah.
destroyed
Really?
it. Oh, it's gone.
I have noticed that you're seeing more grass than
Yes.
snow
Yeah,
right now.
At
That's
least
the
where
point.
we are.
Hey,
Maybe not Camden.
Used to
It's
be
the little
grass.
things, right? It's the little things we're looking for, yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Have a great night. Look forward to seeing you back here tonight at 10 o'clock and over on CBS 13 News at 11 after the game.